It is Weigh-In Wednesday with Charles D'Angelo, and according to an annual World Disasters Report, it was released by the International Federation of the Red Cross, obesity is now tipping the scales and outnumbering hunger on a worldwide scale. That is stunning.
I think much has to do with the socioeconomic gap that exists from poverty level and the wealthier nations, as far as a lot of people that are overweight struggle with their weight because the foods that are available are cheap. And those foods are the things that lead to the problem that they experience. In other words, starchy carbohydrates, when I was an overweight teen, 360 pounds, it was far easier to come by those than it was to come by good, healthy, lean, clean protein sources.
Yeah, easy to drive up to a window and order something that's not healthy for you. Easier
well, with
than
the dollar menu at McDonald's.
Exactly. They usually don't say, here's some almonds, right?
No, but now a lot of the corporate groups are working to make healthier options available. So that's one nice thing. Unfortunately, though, it says a lot about our habits and a lot more about the mindset that people have, the coping mechanism that many are using now in today's society with the economic turmoil that's come about. Many are using food to cope.
Yes, that's a really good point.
It's much different than in the past when there's other vices, of course, some other people use, hard drugs and things of that sort. But food is so readily available and it's very accepted in Western culture. Overeating isn't even thought of as really a problem. It's just what people do.
And when you have a lot of stress, you sometimes give yourself the green light to go ahead and eat whatever you want to comfort yourself because of the stress levels, which is understandable to some point, except the fact that your relationship with food is not healthy.
When you take away the affect, when you take away the emotion and you actually look at the behavior and you say, what am I doing? And you get to the mindset, that's where the real cure is, when you get behind the mechanics to the mindset. So when a person comes to work with me like yourself, we don't just look at what diet do we need to follow. We look at how can we make whatever we're going to do something that becomes an integral part of your lifestyle, so that long after you've attained that goal, you're able to keep with that habit, keep with that pattern, so it just becomes who you are. It is really who you are before you even came to see me. In other words, chaos sometimes causes people to engage in behaviors that are unhealthy. As a kid growing up, I wasn't, as a young person, 5, 6, 7 years old, I was bigger than all the other kids. I mean, I'm a big frame guy. But I wasn't really overweight until I hit puberty, and I went through some chaotic times in my family, and I turned to food to cope. And from that period of about 9, 10 years old through 17, I was able to put on almost 200 pounds of fat through unhealthy eating. But what that says is underneath all that, I was a fit, healthy kid. I was just engaging in some behaviors that were unhealthy. So if that's the case, you can change them.
And the question is that you end up asking yourself is, why does food have so much power over me?
Well, I think the more...
Or how do I give why do I give my power
The more important thing, I think, to ask that will really help people change is to ask, what else could I do besides eat these unhealthy foods to get the feeling that these foods I associate are given to me. In other words, you're using that food to deal with something. It's like people that use a hard drug, people that use cigarettes, right? People that smoke. Now, there is some literature, of course, that shows that there's nicotine dependency. Well, food, I don't believe so much in this sugar addiction thing. I believe that your body does, once it becomes up and down, it secretes hormones to stabilize itself, so you will feel hungrier for those foods to get your blood sugar up. So maybe there's some linkage there. But I don't think there's some chemical dependency issue. So if you look behind it and you say, okay, I need to go ahead and look at the behavior, engage in a different one to get the same feeling, you can come up with a healthier alternative. And when you do that, you have to come up with a plan. And we can talk about that next time, right? Next time, sure. All right. And you can go to our website at kpiller11.com and learn how you can get in touch with Charles. Well,